DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And as always, we're always excited and happy that you've taken the time to join us today. Today I have with me my special guest, John Ma with Home Buyers 365, and he's going to share with us about flipping and wholesaling in the DMV area, DMV market.
That's right. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
You're
this
welcome.
is really exciting. Never been on a show like this before, so I'm really excited to share some stuff with you.
Yeah. First, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Okay, so I used to have a corporate day job. I used to work for a government contractor, did various stuff. I used to be a nuclear engineer. I did stuff with missile. Yeah, I did stuff with missile launchers and laser weapons.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, but I mean, I just felt like my heart wasn't really in it when it comes to a day job.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's kind of how I got into the whole real estate thing. Was really just looking at different avenues of investing.
Okay.
Obviously you see all the mainstream articles about investing stocks, stuff like that. So I just read more and more about it, and ultimately I just kind of leaned more towards the real estate avenue, right?
Okay.
And at the time, this is maybe I have a hard time keeping track of timelines, so maybe 4 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, but I bought my first property down in Norfolk, Virginia. That's where I was living at the time, and from there, I just read a lot of stuff online, different message boards out there, especially Bigger Pockets. I'm sure you've heard of that site.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got exposed to all these different niches in real estate investing. And obviously I kind of started with the whole rental avenue.
Okay.
The very first property I bought, it was actually I don't remember if it was a foreclosure, but
really?
I bought through an auction site. That's what it was.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had no idea how the process worked whatsoever. I just kind of winged it.
You did.
I bad apples. I mean, it's like, crap. What do I do now? Let me go back to my message board and see what other people are doing, right?
Right. Yeah.
And overall, it cash flowed. So that was a good thing. And eventually I was able to buy more properties down there, and I still have them today.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Good for you. Wow, so you're doing this full time now?
That's correct. Yeah. So right now I'm doing it full time, and at some point, I started getting into the fix and flips and the wholesaling stuff as well. And there was a period where I was just doing all that stuff at the same time, just doing the real estate investing and basically starting a real estate company without realizing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. To me, when you read these different tactics and these different strategies online, it's like you don't really fully understand that you're starting a company.
The whole concept, yeah.
You understand you're starting a company when you do that. You're starting a business, essentially.
Yeah.
So, I was just doing bits and pieces, and I wouldn't call what I was doing a business. It was more so me taking a bunch of different actions that kind of failed forward into, some profits here and there.
Right.
At some point I just felt like it was really overwhelming having that job at the same time, because think about it, we only have 16, 18 hours in a day, minus without the sleep. You only have a limited number of hours, and you spend more than half of that at a day job where you're not even mentally there anymore, because you're thinking about properties and you're looking.
Your passion is in your head.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So at some point I had to kind of let that go, and it's kind of a scary thing because you're so used to having a paycheck every 2 months. And I had a great job. It was a pretty good job, and just kind of letting go of that, it's definitely a huge step. Right?
Was it a good feeling though?
It is, absolutely. Just going from having that employee mindset to a quasi self-employed entrepreneurial lifestyle, it's very different, because when you're an employee, you're constantly thinking about what's my annual salary. That's the number you're attached to, right? Am I making $100,000 a year? Making $120,000 a year?
Right.
If you really think about it, 100 versus 120, the difference is 20,000.
Yeah.
But that's over the course of an entire year.
Right.
Honestly, it's not even that much. Right?
Yeah. Right.
It's not even that much. So
so why not make that in less time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you go with the entrepreneurial route, you just start thinking differently. You start wiring yourself differently. You start thinking about your highest dollar per hour activities, right? So you really start prioritizing what you need to do in the day, just to kind of maximize how much you can make.
You're now in business for yourself, basically, and you have that, basically goal. You have your goals that you're set, that you have to, fire going forward, because now you're the boss.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. You're completely responsible, even on your days where you're just not can't just, you know, go into work and, you know, not do a whole lot and still get a paycheck. It's very different. I mean, you have to, you basically take responsibility and you accept for the day. You accept the days that you're not as productive.
Right. You have to be totally motivated.
Yeah. And you use that to kind of propel yourself forward.
Right. Have you had any, I don't want to say bad experiences, but as far as buying properties on auction, any issues with properties that you bought?
As far as buying?
Yeah, no.
Knock on wood, no.
No, yeah, I was looking at a property earlier today that I was telling you about that they've got like 6 dumpsters out of there, you know, and continue to get dumpsters out of the property, which is like crazy. But so you've never had anything like that?
No.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's really good. So how long have you been doing it now? You said a couple years?
Yeah, so as far as getting into buying properties, I'd say about 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Wow. So explain to us exactly what wholesaling is. To
Okay.
somebody that doesn't know what wholesaling is out there. Yeah.
So it's a, I would call it a strategy. It's a strategy. It's more of an exit strategy, really, because it comes down to finding a motivated seller, finding a great deal out there, and talking to. Usually, you're talking to the seller directly, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you know, you get under contract, and you simply just reassign your rights to another investor that you're partnering up with.
You assign it before you actually close on it.
Right. So that's a strategy of it. I think traditionally, what people were doing is they were closing and just simply reselling it.
Mm-hmm.
I think at some point, someone realized, hey, let's just reassign it.
Just assign it before it even closes.
And they just open a can of worms from there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have to deal with any of the back end things on it, basically.
Sure.
You know. So how are you finding your clients, your sellers?
Through my online marketing.
Okay.
So online marketing has been my best channel.
Okay.
I know most people like to send out mailers. And it's not to say the mailers aren't great or anything.
Yeah.
I just haven't done it, that's all.
Okay. So everything is online that you're getting.
Exactly,
So that's really good.
Yeah, so it started off with me just kind of playing around with this site, and I worked with a ad manager campaign, and I just kind of stuck with them, and over time I was seeing some results, so I just kind of stuck with that.
You just stayed with it. Yes, if it's doing good for you, why not? Yeah. I guess basically doing both at the same time, full-time, part-time now, basically. And I guess going from part-time to full-time is where you're at right now for the past 6 months, and that is actually working out really well for you. You have some seminars coming up soon that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we're holding, so actually I want to backtrack a little bit.
Okay, sure.
I just forgot to mention how I got into the fix and flip and the wholesaling stuff. I started attending local meetups, actually, real estate investor meetups. There's a local one called Kaza.
Okay.
It's now called Grid. It was started by Rob Chavez out in Reston, Keller Williams. So I started attending events like that and just started meeting local people, because I know there's so many different coaching programs out there and all sorts of different, I call them hotel seminars, and they have these seminars that come into town.
There are a lot of them out there.
Yeah, for sure. And they're definitely costly, and I guess I was too cheap to actually look into those.
Yeah.
So I attended meetups, and it worked out really great for me because I met a lot of local people. And how I got started was I just basically pestered the people that I met there. I asked them out to lunch, and actually all of them were very willing. And I find people exactly people are very willing to tell you information, especially if you're kind of down here and they want to bring you up, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I met a lot of great local people, and I was able to shadow some of them, and I was able to walk into some of the properties some of the investors were doing, and it's not so much they were showing me step by step what to do, but I think it was more so of kind of a mental validation of reference experience, showing, hey, anyone can do this. This person I just met, they're just any ordinary person. Maybe they're a little bit older than me, but I mean, they probably came from a similar background. They used to have a job, and one day they just decided to do this, and here I am, touring a property with them, and just getting that social validation, knowing that this person can do it. I can probably do that also.
Right. Yeah, it's great to find people that actually is going to help you, because these days people, it's really hard to find people that's going to actually help you through the process. Especially when there's really nothing in it for them, right?
Yeah.
So it's really a good thing, and you're in a good group right now, which is good.
For sure. And I think think your original question was the meetup that we're having.
Yeah.
So what I mentioned, Kaza, they're now called Grid. They've rebranded to Grid, and they actually have multiple different chapters in the area.
Okay.
My friend Dan Perez, he's an agent with the brokerage I'm part of. We started a real estate investors meetup as well under that Grid. That Grid franchise in Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
So that's actually, so we're having a Josh Cody's mutual connection. That's how we got connected.
Yeah, I love Josh.
Yeah. So we're having him as a speaker this week, and so our meetup is every Thursday of the month. It's going to be in Arlington at the Carey Scholl Real Estate Office in Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
This month we're going to be talking about managing contractors, which in my opinion is a huge topic.
Yeah, Josh gave us some information about that.
Yeah, especially when it comes to rehabbing, because so I look at business to three components. One is marketing. I think this applies to every single business, by the way.
Yeah.
You have marketing, you have production, you have operation.
Right.
So marketing is, putting out marketing, finding your leads.
Right.
Production is, say you build iPhones, you're a manufacturer building iPhones. You have a real estate investment company, you're turning out houses, right?
Right. Depends on your product, right?
Exactly. And if you're an agent, you don't have a tangible product, but you have a service.
Yeah.
So that's the production in that, right?
Right.
And there's operation, the accounting, the managing the back end type of stuff that we usually don't do so well on.
Or we don't want to do, put it off to somebody else to do it, exactly. Yeah.
So when it comes to managing contractors, I think that's really the biggest component when it comes to the production aspect of your business. And, if you're not managing your contractors properly, you're kind of at their discretion, essentially, So, I'm really excited to have this talk with Josh, and I'm sure he's got a lot to share from his decade-long of experience. And
Josh is great. DC First Properties, we had Josh on here a couple weeks ago, and he's a wealth of information. I was going to ask you, so at any point did you actually buy a property and get in there and just do it yourself, or have you always had contractors doing it for you?
I've always had contractors. As far as do it yourself, I feel like I'm capable of doing all that, but when it comes to scaling anything, you're going to need people.
Right.
If you're in it on your own, I forget who said that, but if you can achieve your goals on your own, your goals just aren't big enough, right? And that's so true, because let's just say with real estate agents, because this is very common in this industry, you have the solo agent who tries to do everything himself, and a lot of them do pretty well, but they just look so burnt out, right?
Right. You're constantly running, doing stuff.
Exactly. You're marketing for the business, you're providing the service, and you're doing the back end stuff, and they're probably dropping the ball on that, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. The ball's being dropped somewhere, and you don't want to actually drop the ball in the front end where you're actually dealing with the customer and face to face, because that's your referral base, that's your, that's actually your bread and butter, basically. So just turn it over to, whomever in the back area, and let them do whatever they need to do for you, so you can keep going and just keep going, basically.
Exactly.
Anything else that you can tell us that you're doing right now?
So I did become a licensed agent. I felt like with the whole investing side of things, it was really beneficial to have a license. A, I can list my properties. B, I can help other people who say they want to get into flipping, or they want to learn more about it. I'm able to serve them, them as a client, right? So,
which is great. It's a great idea.
Oh, absolutely, And overall, it makes you more knowledgeable. Just being licensed in a certain thing just makes you way more credible.
And you can actually list your own properties.
For sure,
and not have to worry about paying the extra commission
Absolutely.
on it, right? So if there's a seller out there, let's say there's a seller out there that's in a situation that they're looking to sell, maybe get rid of their property quickly, what would you advise them to do?
Okay, so usually people reach out to us, I tell them, I can't buy every house out there, just kind of setting that tone. And, I tell them, let's just kind of get to know each other, let me hear about what's going on in your life, and, a little bit about the house, whether it's outdated, it hasn't been renovated at some point, right, just to kind of get the full scoop, get the full picture. So oftentimes sellers, they don't realize the different options that are available. oftentimes they don't know what's best for them because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right, very true.
So sometimes they're just so fixated on, oh, let me just get rid of my property. Oh, I have to do this or I have to do that. And they're just so fixated on that one option when really they don't realize they have these other options as well
available to them.
Right. So I try to hear them out and see exactly what is going on, and ideally for me it would be most ideal if I could get it, make a cash offer and be able to acquire that property. But oftentimes that's not the case, and to be honest, I'd like to see these sellers get as much for their houses as possible. Right?
That's nice, yeah.
Because oftentimes they just get into a bad situation where they just they need the money.
Yeah,
fast
you
and,
never know. It's like a divorce or maybe an illness or something like that. Where it puts them in a situation where they really can't continue. So it's
Right.
a lot of times it's good that you're able to help them because a lot of people will just go in there and take advantage.
Absolutely.
And that happens a lot with the companies out there.
Oh, for sure. Especially in our area. I mean, the whole We Buy Houses type companies. There's just so many of them out there doing heavy marketing, and a lot of them are very cookie cutter. They just kind of give out a cash offer and that's all they're gonna do. It's not to say they can't do anything else, but they've just built their business so that that's the model they do.
Right.
And obviously they don't accept every offer, but they'll just constantly follow up and kind of badger you.
Yeah, it's just a business for them. There's no emotions or anything involved with it. They just want to get in there, get as much as they can actually make, and move on to the next one, and just keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's good that you actually have that personal touch to your business, which makes it really good. So because usually, I mean, if a seller is in a situation where they're looking to sell and they're divorced, illness or something like that, it's very emotional for them, and for somebody to actually come in and just try to take advantage of them at that point too. Because they really more than likely need the money out of the property. Need some of the money out of the property so they can actually move on or do what they need to do. So it's good that you actually have that personal touch and you can actually help them with the process.
Yeah, and I treat them all as a client rather than just a seller I'm trying to get a house out of, right?
Right, and, it's a client.
Yeah, so the great thing about what I can do is because we're not a large operation, I'm able to structure creative deals to make it a win-win situation.
Yeah.
So, like I said, oftentimes a low cash offer isn't what they need.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's what they think they want, or they think it's the only option. But oftentimes, what if we just renovated the kitchen? They would be able to sell it on the market. Could they wait 3 months? Oh yeah, they can actually.
Right.
So why don't we do that? Because these different options, I'm able to do. It just kind of really opens the doors to more options I can provide to that seller.
Okay, so that's a good point. So you actually would go in there and renovate the kitchen or the bathroom or something like that, so you wait before you put it on the market so you can actually get more money for the home for them.
Exactly. So that way, basically I'll just get a listing and probably a fee for the project management and stuff like that. And they can walk out with a little bit more money.
Yeah.
And obviously that's something I can help other agents with as well, because oftentimes other agents or brokerages come across clients like that.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
Instead of just listing it as is, they could potentially make a little bit more money. So potentially a lot of agents I can help out as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Instead of putting it, because usually when you put it on the market as is, right away a buyer comes in and just want to knock the price down whatever amount is, as opposed to maybe putting a little bit of updates in the property, which actually is going to help you get a little bit more for the property. So it makes a lot of sense. But I guess all of it really depends on the situation too with the seller. But that's great that you actually do that. That makes really a good customer service skill, client service skill that you have.
Sure.
Which is good.
And it gives me some variety.
Yeah.
Rather than just doing this one cookie cutter thing, I'm dealing with different types of clients and coming with different creative solutions to, be able to help them out.
Right. You're getting in there with the personal touch, which is good. That's great. Yeah. Anything else you can tell us that we haven't covered?
No, I think that's about it here.
Okay. Yeah. We have Josh coming on. You have Josh. So tell me about the meetup group. Meetup group. Does it cost money for folks to go to that?
No, it's absolutely free. So it's called Grid Arlington. You can find our group here in Facebook as well as on an actual meetup on the platform. So yeah, the intention is to create a platform where either existing investors or people who want to do a little bit of investing but haven't exactly started yet, or they don't really know how to.
Okay.
It's a platform where they can kind of come together and really learn about what they need to learn.
Okay.
And it's not so much like a lecture. It's more so it's a community.
Okay.
The idea is to get people to interacting with each other because, like,
share their experiences.
Exactly. Like I said before, it's not a solo game. Everything's a team game.
Yeah.
And the more connections you have, you're able to do a lot more things that you didn't realize you could do last year.
Before, yeah.
Right. So I mean, oftentimes, a lot of my friends, they ask me about getting into house flipping, buying an ugly house and renovating it.
Mm-hmm.
I was asking well, what's keeping you, right?
Doing it, yeah.
Oftentimes it's either they don't think they can afford to do that,
mm-hmm.
or they feel like it's too risky based on what they hear in the media.
Yeah.
Right? And I guess the know-how just comes down to the
how
fear.
to do it. Yeah.
So I mean, if you go to a meetup such as Grid Arlington, you're going to meet all sorts of different people that are already investing, and
mm-hmm.
you'll meet lenders as well, and you'll realize, oh wow, I thought I didn't have enough money to do this, but there's a lender right here very willing to give me an amount for the acquisition. Right?
Okay, so you have lenders there also available?
Absolutely, yeah. And the great thing about using certain lenders is
mm-hmm.
they'll kind of cross-check the deal, make sure it actually makes sense, right?
Okay.
Because the other thing was, people were afraid of buying a property for the wrong price.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What if I'm paying too much?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're paying too much for a deal, the lender won't even give you the money for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like a secondary safety measure, in my opinion.
Right.
Right. So I mean, there goes that objection, and then there's the know-how. This week Josh is gonna be talking about managing contractors
mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, and obviously there's gonna be other investors there that can share their experience
mm-hmm.
and kind of show you, give you a little bit of social validation, like what happened with me. I didn't realize I could do this until I met a real person.
Yeah.
That was doing it.
Yeah. So, a little bit about the actual property itself. Let's say for someone that it's never done it before and they actually saw property and they're trying to find out, okay, I really want to do this, I want to take this risk, but how do I find out I'm not going to be paying too much for it? I mean, as far as the repairs and everything that's going into the property, I'm paying this amount now, and then this is the market price, and being able to figure out how much work they actually put in the property.
Right. That's a really good question. Kind of I call it the dummy way.
Okay.
Is just going on MLS. I think is the best resource for finding data like that.
mm-hmm.
But oftentimes people don't have access to the MLS,
Yeah.
so you may want to partner with an agent such as myself or any other agent out there that's investor friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
I mean, they can even use a site like, I want to use the word here, Redfin and Zillow.
Yeah.
You can use
you
can use sites like that. To be honest, those are really good resources.
They really are. They have great estimates.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say great estimates, but they actually have a lot of information about the properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how I use them is I look at the sold data. They have a history of that. And,
Yeah.
Especially if you find a flipped house,
Yeah.
look at exactly how much it's sold for.
Yeah.
Like the out sale after it's been renovated, and you can tell how much they got it for. Right.
Yeah.
So if the house you're looking at right down the street
mm-hmm.
models that house, same
mm-hmm.
style and everything, you can literally use that template as a
Right.
cookie cutter example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I take that back as far as the Redfin and the Zillow statement out there as far as them knowing the values, because they're just really, I think, guesstimating too, and there's no rhyme or reason. A lot of times they can be like way off, and sellers do look at that and think that's concrete information, and you really need to check the comps and check the properties inside and make sure that you're comparing it correctly with with other properties. So I just had to take that little statement back there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
but, the easiest thing is really just working with an agent.
mm-hmm.
A good agent that is investor friendly, has worked with investors, or is an investor himself. That's the best way, in my opinion.
Right, and you have a lot of help, which is really good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not just kind of using him as a tool, but also you're building a relationship. They're a resource. A lot of agents that I've worked with in the past, I've never told them, but I mean, I consider them as mentors. I go to them for questions and stuff like that.
And they help you. That's good. It's great to find good help, and people to actually give you advice in this business too. When you have that, hold on to it and keep it, because you know a lot of people really in this business sometimes they don't really want to help you. They don't want to see you succeed, which is not good. So, yeah, you know. Anyway, we are on that note. We are out of time, which went too quickly. Again, you know, we look forward to being back here with you next Wednesday from 1:30 to 2 o'clock. And again, your little plug on Meetup is in Arlington.
Grid Arlington.
Okay.
If you look it up in Google or Meetup or in the Facebook group, you'll find our group in Facebook. Grid Arlington.
Okay. You guys have a great week. Thank you for being with us again. John Ma, everybody. Home Buyers 365.
Yep, thanks for
Have
having
a great week. You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Say that every week.
What? What do I say every week?
You run out of time.
They run out of time.
This is the person that don't want to go home.
I am not doing an hour with you.
It went by really quick.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's 2.
Yeah.
We're working on that hour.
No, we're not working on an hour. That would be really tough. That was good. Thank you.